So I had a few people respond, and it was funny. Like a consistent theme was that goals don't go down.
Hey,
Goals only go up, and every place that I have ever worked at, every single year they basically go up. So I think right now there's wholesalers who are being delivered those new goals, maybe over the last few weeks, or maybe now during their review. So like easiest question here to tee this up is when externals get new goals, like how does management actually go about setting those?
you're gonna get me in trouble here if I say what I really think. No.
Like
They
it's like
go
a
to
it's
a
like a secret
magical
recipe from
tree.
my grandmother. I can't tell you all the
They go
details,
to
but I'll give
a
you enough.
Yeah, they go to a magical tree in Never Land and they consult with the elves and they go in and then they're handed down the goals. No, okay, so goal setting is a big topic. There are various very big differences at all of the firms that I've been at, and I know across the industry in how they are approached and how they are set. On the one hand, there are firms that have some degree of feedback and input from the sales force, which is it could be divisionals, it could be wholesalers. What do you think you can do? Give us the estimates. That input, along with, top down goal push, and we have some negotiation about what's reasonable. I've been at places where, frankly, Dan, like they just don't. They don't. Now, again, wouldn't be mine to leave out the sales force's input, but I've been at places where like this is the goal. Here's how it's divided up. Now you can move some things around. We'll get into that in a second on how it is, but that's the goal. So that's the first thing I'd say is I think at each firm it's going to differ between how much input and back and forth you actually have.
Where I think you're going with this is that firm dependent, whoever has a seat at that table may or may not include the sales team, whether it's an external or divisional.
Yeah. Yeah. One firm I was at, it wasn't even divisionals didn't even have any say in it at all. Okay. And then the firm that I was at where I was a divisional, we did kind of have a say, right? But ultimately where it starts is you've got something up higher up the chain, depending on where it is in the chain, where someone's going to say this business, we want this business to do X this year. So call it high level. Where does that come from? We can go into the inputs there, but probably not good for this audience. We want the firm to grow this because of that, so it rolls down to the plan that this is their gross sales. And then what happens is that's going to roll downhill. So then from the high level sales goal, you've got to break it up between the different businesses. And then within the different businesses, the different divisions, and then the different divisions, different wholesalers. So what I would say at the firm where I was manager is we actually did, I think, a pretty good job of gathering input and feedback from the sales force where we took into account a lot of times like okay, you did this, like what do you think that you can do and get some input there. And so then we also had a top down, and what we did is we had an annual meeting where it was our head of distribution, and it was all the divisionals, head of institutional, so basically the heads of sales, and we just kind of took the goal and we broke it down and kind of did movement territory by territory because there are different opportunity sets. Like I don't always love opportunity set, but you've got to consider the opportunity set in a given region. So for us, we had four divisions. So different opportunity set, they're relatively close, but different opportunity sets in the different four regions. But there's another piece of the calculus, which is how tenured are the wholesaler, right? So you don't want to penalize your really good people who have been here for a long time and done really well, but nevertheless, they're probably going to get a higher goal than someone who's brand new, right? Who's just starting. So it gets broken down by tenure and by opportunity set, and we would just kind of go territory by territory and potentially move some things around. And so that's how we handled it. So there was back. So to sum up, because I hope I'm not being too long-winded here, you had some negotiation between sales and management, and then when we finally got to a number that okay, we can start to work with a little bit, then we go down and we start to have a negotiation between the divisions at the territory. So there was a lot of thought that went into it. Do those after that get adjusted? Sometimes yes, right? I mean, it might be that, okay, we were working on this goal. We went back to the table. It's got to go up. So now we got to adjust it higher, right? but that was the kind of thinking and the calculus behind it. It was, how do we break this high level number down between the different businesses, between the different, divisions, and then the wholesaler level.
I'm sitting here listening to this and I'm picturing a oak room where there's a big board meeting and people are like super serious game planning. Take me inside the room to this. Is it
Yeah,
super serious? Is it intense? Like what's the vibe and attitude of the people that are kind of putting this together?
it can be. It can be. We had a fun management group where, I think we were all, most of us were like friends outside of it. So, you come in and it's always, I won't say always, but it starts out pretty cordial. But I think when you start to get into, some of the discussions about individual territories or divisions, it could get a little bit like, I don't want to say heated, but pushback. So for us, we had our head of distribution, which is the person that was really kind of overseeing the discussion between the divisions. So I might say, okay, you gave me this goal. Here's how, the way I broke down my territories. I'm coming a little short to the total, but this is what I think is reasonable. It's the head of distribution's job to say, okay, if we're going to move that goal to another, because the other division doesn't want more goal, right?
Right.
They
Yeah. It's
want like,
not like
please,
the East Division is not like, no, I'm gonna West, please
I
give
got
us
you.
more quota. Yeah, like let us
Yeah, I
get
got you,
more
Steve.
funds here.
Yeah, send that goal right over here, right? So I
Drafting
think
and trading. We're like trading first round picks for our goals here.